Hello everyone, Peppermint here today, the day after Christmas in my PJs, in my brand new PJs. Guess what I'm doing the very next day after Christmas? I am making Christmas cards for 2019 already. Whether I make my cards or whether I buy my cards, either way, I always start addressing my cards or making them ahead of time. Usually over the summer I will address store-bought cards, but if I'm going to make my cards, I start really early, like almost immediately. And so I'm going to do some watercolor with stamps today and show you how I do that. Okay? Well, let's get started. Let's see here. Get you at a good. I have a piece of watercolor paper. And it's a good thick watercolor paper. I believe I got it at Walmart, but I've had it a while. This is a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of watercolor paper. If you don't have watercolor paper, you can try cardstock, but I've never tried it on cardstock. And I'm going to start out by stamping my image. I have a nice little doggy here. It's real cute. It says, "Hi, it's Christmas." And so I am going to get a good bit of ink on here. And I'm going to put it right smack dab in the middle. There we go. I'm also going to emboss it with some clear, this is Stamp Affair, clear embossing powder. And I use pigmented ink. Finished with that. And I am going to pour this embossing powder over the image. Give it a little thump. I'm going to get it again. Some more, the embossing powder, I'm going to let it get on it over the image again. Give it a little thump. Put your embossing powder back in your little jar. And now I'm going to get my heating tool. I have it on high. I'm first getting the back side. That's how I do it. Just to warm up the back. And then I start warming up the front. And it'll take just a minute for this to melt. See it melting, it's turning black. And there we go. We have him on there. Now, I have some pencils, and I also have Winsor & Newton. I would use all of my Winsor & Newton, but it's fairly expensive, and I don't see any black in here. And I'm going to be needing some black, and I'm going to be needing some gray. So, I'm going to use some pencils. And so, I'm going to go ahead and color this in first. The black and the gray. Of course, staying in the lines. Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. His little chin is gray. I'm making him look like the stamp, the way they have it. Because I think that they have it for Christmas. I think they have it a nice color. Gray is a nice color for an animal for Christmas. And his nose is a black. And I'm not going to put a whole lot of black on it, just a little bit. And so now I have some warm water. And I have my brush. This is a good little all-purpose brush. It comes with my Winsor & Newton kit. And Winsor & Newton, I don't know if I told you, but it was pretty expensive. It was like $50 for that little bit of paint. But from what I hear, in watercolor, you get what you pay for. So I was willing to spend the money. Now I'm just pushing the water around on the inside of where the stamp is. Where the black stamp image is, the lines is slightly raised because of the embossing. And so it's real easy to stay in the lines. And there's the little dog, his body. And I am going to paint in his nose. Now, I believe these paints are my Winsor & Newton paints. Some of them are another type, but let's see, I'm going to use all my Winsor. Pick up a little bit of blue, get it on the very tip, and I'm going to give him some blue eyes. Now for the hat and the candy cane, I'm going to turn him a little bit sideways so I can get to him more comfortably. And I am going to put some water where the red is going to be. Just get it real wet. And on the candy cane too. Now, because of the embossing and the raised area, I'm able to go ahead and paint beside of the other colors, because without them being dry. If it wasn't raised, you would have to wait for certain things, certain areas to dry. So now I'm going to get me some of the red. And I'm just going to put my brush down. And you see how it will travel? And I am just going to blot with my brush where I want the red at. Candy cane, I'm just barely touching it, touching where the water is. I'm going to pick up some more red. I know watercolor is supposed to look watery, but I'm going to get some more color in here. I got a little bit of red on the dog's chin. So let's see if we can get it off. Okay. I believe when it dries I'm going to put some more gray on him, but I can't do it until it dries. I'm going to let this dry and I'll be right back with you, okay? Okay, it's dried, but there's something else that I want to do to this card. Because that little dog, there's no scenery. And I want something to be going on around him. So I'm just going to make some squiggly lines. There's some red. We'll do our traditional Christmas colors. I believe this is green. Yeah, green. And gonna let that dry, which shouldn't take very long at all. I'll be back when it dries. Well, I've got something else I can do while it is drying. So let's put up our brush. Move him out of the way. We're finished with the watercolor. So I have an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. I can get two 4 1/4 by 5.5 cards out of this, folded cards. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it horizontally, and I'm going to slice it. I'm going to cut it at 5.5. Then I am going to score, if I can get it out, at 4.25. And I hope this fits my card. It does. Let's let it dry a little bit more. It probably is dry, but I'm going to work on my inside of my card now. Let's see here. I have a new stamp. This is by Merriest Wish, Joyous Sowhate. Anyway. Try it over here. I am shaking. Why am I doing that? There we go. Here's wishing you the merriest Christmas and the happiest New Year ever. I like that stamp. So let's let that dry. Okay, I believe it's dry. So what I'm going to do next, I have this Elmer's Craft Bond Extra Strength. This is not a glue stick that is for, this is not Elmer School Glue. This is a Craft Bond that is extra strength. And so I am going to put some glue on the back of this card. Getting into the corners. And here I'm going to put it on the front of the card. And here's your little card. I think it's cute. So here's the finished product. The only thing I haven't done is I haven't stamped my name on the back of it. I always do that. And I have some envelopes that are the size of this card that will fit. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something about watercolor. I am not a professional by any means. I am an amateur. I just do it to have fun. And so everyone have a nice day. I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Oh, and don't forget that I have a Valentine's swap coming up in January. So get your entries in during January so I can get them back to you during February, sometime before the 14th. Okay? I'm not having a birthday challenge this year. I'm just having the swap. Okay? So, bye-bye.